Welcome back, everybody, to this week's edition of Legion of Geeks. We have our Legion Assemble episode, which means we have guests that come on every so often. We're trying to do this once a month, and we're doing it today. And this week, we have the incredible Kev back again because he's amazing and incredible and everything that we always wanted. And so I'm going to do this right.
There
Hell
it is.
yeah.
I
finally
was
did
wrong.
it, John.
I fucked
First
up.
try. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on. Kev, good to see you again. We're doing this. We are...
Thank you.
We have a very special episode today in honor of the Batman coming out in just 3 more weeks, which we couldn't be any more excited. I don't think I could be any more excited. Kev, I know you can't be any more excited. We talk every day. And we're doing this because we're just going to hype this up. We're going to talk about Batman today. Not necessarily the new Batman, but we're going to show some love to the character, what drew us to it, what our favorite moments, favorite storylines, just everything Batman this episode. So if you guys like Batman, you are definitely in the right place today.
Yep. And I'm super stoked too. I'm just nervous as shit with all this great marketing because I just hope they just follow it up with a great movie because sometimes there's great, excellent marketing and then there's like a crap movie that just comes out of it. And I'm like, oh man, I hope this isn't one of those.
I feel you, dude. I think, Sean, when you had mentioned that before, then I was like, oh, what if it sucks?
I'm sorry, I'm raining on your parade.
No. I mean, hey, like I get because it made me think of Batman v Superman, and I thought the marketing for that was great. I mean, how they had they were really showcasing Team Superman, are you Team Batman? And I thought this is sick, and like. These big posters of like one is like Superman coming at Batman, you see the back of Superman, and then vice versa. And then I saw it in theaters and was thoroughly disappointed until the Ultimate Edition came out, and then the movie actually made sense. So yeah, I think it's just like our human nature to kind of just be like, I don't want to get too excited. I don't, just in case I get let down, but. Yeah. There's something about this where I think we're gonna be all right.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards your guys' side a bit. Just as after seeing how much like Robert Pattinson actually cares, and how Marcus is gone.
He's back. No, I turned my camera off. It's because for some reason, dude, it's all pixelated.
But yeah, when that comes down to it, like when you have people that actually give a shit about what the movie's about and what's going on. It's usually a good movie, so I think we'll be okay. After all these clips are coming out about Robert Pattinson talking about the role and everything, so
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
It'll be
absolutely, dude. So we have just a few more weeks left until it comes out, and dude, Sean, I think we talked about this last week, but and Kev, I mentioned this to you guys in the chat, but this movie was announced in 2014, and it's 2022 now.
That's so
crazy.
That's how long we've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
And we're right around the fucking corner. And so it's just time is going by so slow now, but we're almost there.
Yep.
Crazy, man.
And just to give you guys a quick tour. So I added the chat on the bottom, across the bottom. Up top, we have our follower goal. We only need 6 more followers till we get affiliated, and then from there we can add we have some surprises for you, some upcoming announcements, and we could do all kinds of other cool shit for the stream and for you guys watching. And then I also got a few surprises for this special Legion Assemble all about Batman, because Kev and Marcus are both Bat maniacs. Like, I love like just comics and superheroes and that whole thing, but you guys take it over the top for Batman. So
it's weird. Really weird.
So are you guys ready for a few surprises I got for you guys?
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I cannot wait.
So I threw in the official logo.
Yes.
I threw in the not so movie quality prop Batman, but and then to switch it all up and make it full Batman mode. We're in the Robert Pattinson Batman universe now, baby. Everything's red and black.
That's perfect.
So
that's amazing.
That's
Good
gonna
job,
be
dude.
faces I'm watching the Batman the whole time. Probably that Christian Bale.
That's exactly
the whole 3
Oh, dude.
hours.
that's
I'm watching the
exactly what
movie.
I was saying, dude. I was like, that's gonna be our faces, just
Even when the credits are rolling, I'm just gonna be exactly like that.
dude. Previews, like as soon as you set foot in the movie theater, you're just,
Oh,
You
but
know,
it
I'll
looks
say,
good.
I noticed that the Legion Assemble font, is that the Batman Forever / Batman and Robin font?
yep.
It's brilliant. That's brilliant.
There is.
I love it. I love it.
So
That's amazing,
yeah,
dude.
this episode we're covering all Batman things. Just to hit on chat, Lulu Bear says this movie makes me nervous, but I'm excited to see an untold story of Batman. I just know Pattinson's acting, so it makes me question if he's Batman level. So when he has a good script and there's a good story, I would say Robert Pattinson's a good actor.
Mm.
I think Twilight was written like shit, so that's what you got. That's
Yeah, he did the best with what he had. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
and
It
then
was also like 15 years ago, everybody. So let's move on, please.
I know. At some point, we do need to build a bridge.
he was
You
he
know?
was good for the few lines he had in Harry Potter too.
Yeah, right.
Dude, forget about that. Yeah.
What really sold it for me for him was Good Times. That movie is fucking awesome.
Mm.
Kev, have you seen that?
No, I unfortunately I have not, but I know of the movie, and I know. Is that the one where is he getting his brother out of jail or something like that, or?
Yeah. So he's just about getting he breaks his brother out of jail,
Okay.
and he's just trying to just keep him out, and like they're both because they robbed a bank in the beginning of the movie, and but like his acting in that movie is incredible. That's actually the movie that Matt Reeves said he watched and like sold him on trying to cast him as Batman. So he said after he saw that, he just started writing for him in the
That's
role.
sick.
So I would definitely watch that if you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm kind of mad at myself. I haven't checked that out. Sean, have you ever seen that?
No, but I think I've seen some interviews. Who plays his brother again?
Oh, dude, I don't know who it was. I've never seen that actor before though.
Oh, okay, because I think I saw some clips of it. Or it was some. Okay, so you guys are gonna think I'm nuts, but I think this is a real thing. I think he was supposed to be on a late night show. Somebody else filled in for him and then talked about his movie for him. So I don't know if it was like Jake Gyllenhaal or like some other actor like did the interview for him and talked about his movie. But like the clips and the interview I saw in that looked amazing. But no, I haven't seen it.
The funniest thing I've ever heard.
It's fun. Yeah, you guys are gonna think I'm nuts, but I think it's a real thing. It might be the headband talking.
Yeah, is it too tight?
He couldn't make it, so someone came on. He was like, "Yeah, I think he really enjoyed his time making that movie."
Exactly,
I just
dude.
want to watch that interview now.
Yeah, I'll try and find it, and if I can, I'll put it in the show notes.
Awesome.
How are we gonna start off here? So we already talked about Batman coming out in 3 weeks. Why we're doing this? Let's talk about our first exposure to Batman. How did
Where
he
did he
come?
expose himself to us?
Yeah, how did he extend his A4 to us?
It was hot.
Kev, you are a guest this week, so you can start us off.
Well, you know what? It's so funny because I was literally thinking about this earlier today when I knew we were going to do this episode, and I was like, when is the first time I really got introduced to Batman? So let's see. So I think the first time I was actually introduced to Batman was the '89 film. Now I was born in '88, so I probably didn't watch it until 91, maybe. I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so that was the first Batman I was ever introduced to. I never got introduced to the Adam West stuff beforehand. My parents thought, no, this dark Tim Burton take, we need to expose our son to something like this. And
This is what he needs.
I am so happy that they did that. But that was my first encounter with the Batman, was the '89 film with Michael Keaton. And I've been obsessed with Batman ever since. I mean, like I don't know if I had said on the stream the last time I was here, but enough to actually tattoo yours truly on my body. I mean, that's insane.
That's dedication.
It is dedication. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, that was the first time I ever got introduced to Batman, and I was obsessed with the character. I think, when I'm that young, I mean, I don't think I was thinking that deeply, but hey, who knows? He was just cool looking, right? I mean, he was dark, and the villains were dark, and it was just, I don't know. So I was just captivated by that. That's all I could really think. And then from there, I just, was just engrossed with that character, and I have been ever since then. Just obsessed with his story and the different takes on him. But it was the '89 film for me. How about you guys?
Yeah, you can go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Kev, the same thing for me. Batman '89 was my first that I can remember, my first exposure to him. Because as a kid, I don't remember when I first saw it or how old I was when I saw the first Batman, but I know that like right away, I don't want to say related because you don't relate to Bruce Wayne. Like my parents got shot and killed in the alley. And I saw it, but, like I didn't relate to it, but like it just like something resonated. Just like the look and like the feel. And it was so different than anything that I had seen at that time, up to that point in my life. So there was like what Nickelodeon stuff, and I don't know what the fuck we were watching. Barney, the weird pedophile dinosaur, but which is a really fucked up show. But
That's a whole nother show.
That's a different show. But yeah, so it was so different, right? And it was just completely opposite of all that stuff. And for the age that I didn't understand like why I felt drawn to it, but it just became obsessed instantly. Just like wearing Batman costumes and running around the house. And like I saw pictures of when I was really little, and I don't remember it because I was too young, but there's pictures of me wearing like a Batman costume. And my mom said I would wear it every single day. Like come home from school and put it on and wear it every day and run around the house with it. It could have just been like, I mean, I like the costume or the gadgets and the Batcave, and everything was just so cool. So that was the first time I saw it, and I wasn't like at the time with Michael Keaton playing Batman. I was so young we didn't even like Michael Keaton was just Batman. That's the first time you ever saw it.
Yeah,
So that's the only
100%.
thing I ever thought of was just that he was it. But like, it's so funny to think that like there was such a big backlash when he was cast, but like, we would never have even known that.
Mm-mm.
And you're just like, that's the first time you're seeing Batman on screen, so you just like you assume like, oh, okay, that's who it is.
Yeah.
And just like the Joker was so over the top, and I'd never seen a villain that was like so flamboyant and but like hard and wacky and insane. And the juxtaposition between them two, the Batman and the Joker, was something. It just like I didn't even know what to do.
Yeah.
I looked like the Christian Bale meme down there on the bottom when I saw it.
Yeah, dude.
And just like the aesthetic style too of the way that Tim Burton did the movie, the art and like the buildings and just like the Gothic style was just
So
totally
sick.
fucking cool. So that was my first exposure to it. Same as you, Kev, and that's where I started to fall in love with it.
Yeah, and I was about the same, but let me catch up in chat here. Chat's going crazy. So Lulu Bear says I was an 8-year-old, started watching the 1966 show with my dad. I remember watching Keaton's and was hooked. Batman was my first tattoo as well. You got a tattoo sister in chat. And even named her dogs after characters. So that's awesome.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Me too, Lulu. My cats are named after Batman characters.
That's fucking cool.
So there's that.
And yeah, so my first exposure was actually the first toy I can remember stealing from my older brother.
It was gonna say stealing from the store.
Yeah.
As a young cult leader.
Headband.
No.
Yeah.
No, it was like the classic Batman figure where he, black and yellow suit, and then his belt it was like a pull string. So you could pull his belt and he would like grappling hook on stuff and it would like pull up his toy. And so I just remember fucking just all day, just like, this is cool, and then just fucking wrecking it as like a a kid. And then I would say from there, like I remember the end of the 89 movie because it deeply scarred me as a child. So I don't remember. I was born in 86, so I was hella young. So like I just remember like the ending scene, and it's it's one of those memories where it's like you don't know where it's from for the longest time. And then I actually watched the Penguin Batman first. I watched it, or I went to the theaters and stuff. And fell in love with the second Tim Burton Batman movie. And then when I went back and watched the original, I was like, this is so sick. And just like you guys, the juxtaposition of everything. I think Jack Nicholson's Joker was insane and over the top, and I really thought the dude's face was like that, like Jack Nicholson's face, like in real life was like that, because it that smile was unreal. And like yeah, and then just growing up and learning more, learning about the backlash about Michael Keaton, and like Tim Burton still pushed forward with it, and then seeing that movie actually made me fall in love with Tim Burton's style. So like for the longest time, all throughout probably like early 2000s, mid 2000s, I was like, dude, Tim Burton is so sick. You can tell everything he touched, just like as an artist, like just looking back on it, I'm like, how crazy that he did a comic book movie, that he did Batman, a classic comic book movie, and fucking crushed it. And then I continue to go back to that one because as an adult, I've fallen in love with like Prince music and everything. And so finding out that Prince did the entire fucking soundtrack for that first one,
right? It's so crazy,
bro. Such an insane thought. But then you go back and you're like, dude, that soundtrack still fucking hits, bro. Like,
oh, dude, that song Trust. Yeah.
I fucking love that song, dude.
That song's a shit.
Yeah, that's the one. That's when they were in the art museum, right?
Just to do you. Oh no, wait.
Oh no, that's the end with the float.
Yeah. He's on the float. Yeah.
But the one in the art museum, that's my favorite one.
Where he's dancing around and shit, painting the canvases.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like is it like Party Man or oh man, I want to listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah. Dude. Oh fuck yeah.
It's still super dope,
funny, dude. Because Tim Burton, he went did Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and then came and did Batman after that. So like it's so crazy that he went from
everybody was on drugs, whoever was casting and assembling the whole thing.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. When was Beetlejuice made? Was that before Batman?
No, I think it was after. Yeah, I want to say it might have been in between the two films.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's so crazy. Before we had started the stream, we were talking about maybe I brought up the Burton films and watching them as a kid, and like we all did, and like mentioning at the time like that was our Batman, like Michael Keaton was our Batman, and the visuals, the way that the Joker was portrayed, and his origin story, and how he gave the Joker a name. Jack Napier, or Tim Burton I should say, gave him a name, but he never had a name in the comics, and the way that Penguin was portrayed, like honestly, like that young, I just thought like, yeah, like the Penguin was this like crazy mutant like freak that like spit ink out of his mouth, and then like you watch it as an adult and you're like, this isn't it at all. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck is going on? Like this is insane. And then you're like, well, Tim Burton did it, and then you're like, oh, okay, well he's just that's his thing.
Yeah, he changed a ton of shit.
Yeah, and I've listened to a lot of different things. I don't know if you guys have ever heard there's really great commentary from Kevin Smith and Mark Bernard, and they rewatch these older Batman movies, and the commentary is hilarious. And they pointed something out that seems extremely obvious now, but with Tim Burton, his aesthetic, just the kind of person he is, the movies that he creates, the art that he creates, he definitely cares more about the freaks, than 100%. The heroes, and you kind of got that from like Batman Returns, like. It was very Penguin heavy, and Batman was okay. Yeah, I guess we could throw him in for a few minutes, but then bring that Penguin guy back in and let him drool like all this crazy shit, and like and then you're like, wait, how did these two human beings mate and then create like a penguin kid? Like I started having all these thoughts as an adult, like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Like,
Yeah.
was the wife cheating on him, like with a penguin? And he was like, have you been seeing that penguin person again? And she's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, look at our son. Fucking penguin.
Yeah, dude. And then he bit that like the fish, right? Didn't he eat the fish?
Ate
Dude,
the raw fish.
There's so many things in that movie. I don't know the last time that you guys have seen Batman Returns, but there's so many like adult themed like sexual things in that movie. Did you ever notice that?
Oh yeah, dude. What didn't he like? Penguin like made a pass at that one or like a couple of girls or something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, like the way he like puts like.
Didn't he just snarl or something?
He's running for mayor.
Yeah,
and he takes his button and like really pushes it on her chest. And then he mentions like doing a flipper trick to Catwoman, and then I just remember like there was like a Happy Meal associated with this movie. Like McDonald's had like a whole you could get like cups, like collector cups. Meanwhile, Penguin's talking about flipper tricks to Catwoman. But that's what I mean. Like, but that's we grew up with this stuff, so.
Yeah.
There's like that. What I'm trying to get at after all this other crazy shit I'm saying is, it's nostalgia. That was the Batman that I grew up with, and it sounds like that you guys grew up with. So I kind of forgive it for that. But it is if you haven't rewatched these movies in a while, it is fun to rewatch them and realize like, oh shit, like this is fucking nuts. Some of this stuff that was going on.
It's insane.
My favorite is in the second one, right? The Returns with the Penguin, and he's fighting all those goons, and he fucking blows the one guy up. You remember when he he's like stuffs the bomb in his pants or something when the guy's not looking, and they look at the guy, and then they go back to Keaton, and he's got that face that like really
dude, that smile that he does. He's like,
he just like straight up blew that guy away, dude. Like he's dead.
And everybody was like, Ben Affleck's Batman is fucking killing everybody. And I'm like, watch Batman Returns. Like, Batman tucks TNT into this guy's belt loop and shoves him down like a hole real quick to blow him up.
And took pleasure, like weird pleasure out of it. He
also lights that guy on fire. Remember?
Oh, yeah. I do
when the whole gang's like infiltrating the Times Square.
Yeah.
And he just lights that like dude on fire. All of a sudden, just drives off. Like, I don't know. It's just we forgave
great, dude. Yeah, it's just so fun and fucking wild, dude. And it's I don't know if it's our harshness on Batman Forever, where I'm like, okay, maybe there's some kids that grew up with that Batman, with that, but I still think Tim Burton's style makes this fun and not dumb. Like I think his wacky casting, his super darkness, his focus on freaks, his focus on the heavy contrast where there's like all these black and white like dark gritty scenes, and then there's fucking Joker in like bright purple, orange, like, and all Joker's dudes are all in color. And so I think Tim Burton style saved it, dude, from being a George Clooney, or any of the other ones like the goofy Batman movies, dude.
Right.
It's crazy, like to think about that, and I think and I was just finding this information out today, but the '89 Batman, I think the budget on the film, if I'm not mistaken, was like, oh my gosh, was it like? Honestly, it was like, I don't know if it was in the 50s or 60 millions. I may be a little off, but it was low. It was really low.
Yeah.
And then apparently worldwide it made like $400-something million. Which is
crazy
for that time.
Yeah.
Are you fact checking? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it was like, no, please do, because I mean I know it was super low. Like I think it was definitely
dude. Lower than even you said.
Was it 35?
35, yeah.
What the? See, and then did it make 400 million worldwide or something like that?
89. What was this? Like box office? Box office.
I think there's like Box Office Mojo.
Yeah, it made 411 million.
which is crazy,
That's
right?
insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Like
huge
even,
profit.
especially during that time, during the late '80s, early
Yeah.
'90s, and then so obviously they said to Burton like, okay, well we're gonna do a sequel, and like I guess they were like, whatever you want to do, man, like. And he was like, okay, I have an idea. And then we got Batman Returns. And,
Yeah.
and again, like, I don't want to bash it because everybody has same with like there's so many different comic iterations of Batman, and everybody has their own particular thing. But so to me, like when I watch the movie now, yeah, I'm kind of like I question some things, but I grew up with that, so it's like But I don't think that movie did as well, like not nearly as well as the original Batman did, and so I think that's why they decided to part ways with Burton. And they were like, this was like that flipper trick scene. Like, okay, we're gonna go a different route. So that's why I feel like they almost took elements. They just like went back in time to the '60s Batman, and were like, we're gonna take elements of this, really brighten things up with neon, just more and more neon all over the place. Which I was like, why is there so much neon in this movie?
Yeah.
I don't understand. But they were like, there's not enough.
Yeah.
And you got the Schumacher films. Which I haven't watched those in a while, and I don't know. Have you guys watched either of Schumacher's movies recently?
Yes.
Which
And
both of them?
yeah, unfortunately one of them, but we talked about this actually on, I think, what is it, 2 shows ago or a couple weeks ago, right, Sean? With
I think so.
we
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
the Infinity Gauntlet, and like what would I change for DC or Marvel, or what storylines would I change? And I'm not sure if you've listened to ever watch, but it mentioned just completely erasing Batman and Robin from existence, from ever happening. As that just was the stupidest fucking movie ever. And I get what you're saying, right? Like everybody grew up on a different kind, and like there was probably some kids that like that was their introduction to Batman, and they thought that that's what, like, it was like a nice transition because it wasn't like dark, or it wasn't like dreadful, or it wasn't painful or anything. It was just like the Bat credit card, man, and like I was just like all of that,
It
dude.
was a ton of guaranteed money, and it just stayed in a safe zone, and like you said, just fucking lights and colors everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
Um,
But I did also mention that, and Kev, I know you feel the same way, but Val Kilmer is my underrated Batman choice. I thought he slayed it in the role, and he was really good. And I didn't like the movie he was in, but I told Sean I would have loved to have seen uh Val Kilmer in that period of time, like do the Christopher Nolan trilogy instead of Christian Bale. I would have liked to have seen Val Kilmer in the role.
That's interesting, dude. I agree with you. I think, and of course, years and years later, I think that movie came out in '95, Batman Forever. But everybody has like a cut all of a sudden. So apparently there's a Schumacher cut, and he
Yeah.
was actually going to make the film a little more intense. Intense in the
Like a
maybe
camping
intense.
sense.
What's that?
Intense, like a camping sense.
Intense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So the whole film was going to be in a tent,
Stupid jokes.
which I was like, I'm not sure. Yeah. Man, how tight is that bandana? Just loosen it a bit. No, yeah, he was really gonna focus on it. It seemed like Bruce Wayne's psyche and his battle with being, the Bruce Wayne persona.
Psycho.
What's it?
No, is it being a fucking psycho?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And it's unfortunate that we didn't get any of that. But I do think Val Kilmer with and the thing is, I don't want to trash talk Joel Schumacher, may he rest in peace, because Joel Schumacher I think is a great director and has made some of my favorite movies. Lost Boys, for example, one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, it's just an '80s classic to me. I think the movie Phone Booth is great. And
I liked it too. That's with Colin Farrell, right?
yeah,
Farrell?
like
Yeah.
Joel Schumacher. I just feel I don't know all the details, how he was brought into, taking over the franchise at that point. But obviously Warner Brothers wanted to go in a completely different direction to really separate itself from Batman Returns and like the whole gothic nature of that film. And I don't say that like it's a bad thing, but they wanted to just kind of wipe that, have a clean slate. Like, forget that. Like, check this out.
That was the end of a chapter and beginning of a new one.
Yeah. And there's, again, I haven't seen Forever in a while, but I remember it pretty well. And there are elements of that movie that aren't too bad. I definitely think Val Kilmer is probably the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
The Robin stuff gets on my nerves, except for, just
Holy Rusted Metal.
Yeah, yeah, that wasn't too great. However, his ninja skills as he's folding laundry, that was pretty cool though. That scene, I don't know if you guys remember that at all.
Briefly, yeah.
I had
whose idea was that? They were like, no. I like how you're folding the towels. We want you to do this though. You know what I mean? Like the sucker punch that towel and like, karate chop that t-shirt.
Throw in a few.
Yeah. Something bad about your mom. Like
I was telling Sean, one of the gripes that I had with Robin is that he was fucking 30 years old, right, when his parents died in the tent. Dude, he was like Chris O'Donnell. It was supposed to be a boy,
I know.
And dude, he was so like not old, but he was a full fucking adult, and so it was a totally different take.
He didn't need to move in with Bruce Wayne, who was only like 5 years older than him. Like there was no reason for that.
How bad is rent that you got to move in?
I don't know how much like the circus is paying nowadays, but
dude. I mean, he was riding motorcycles, like full on motorcycles. So I mean,
dude, I will say, as a kid, so I noticed that, but then I was very like introspective, and so the way I made sense of it as a kid was I was like, oh, the Robin in the comics, he wears red, green, black, white. I was like, oh, this is like a maroon, like in black Robin. So this is like a totally different guy. So that's, I don't know why, but that fucking justified it for me. And like, I never questioned it.
He's maroon. Is a little more mature.
Dude.
Yeah.
Real quick, Kev, maybe you can settle this. Cause on our last episode, when we got into Batman talk, in that movie, he had a plane that got wrecked and turned into a boat, right? And then he was dodging like those marine landmines. We couldn't 100% remember.
It is, Sean.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, you were right.
I remember it's towards the end of Batman Forever, right? And they're going to like Riddler's crazy headquarters, which I don't know who built this like huge thing for him, but Batman was flying a jet, but I thought Robin was just in a boat. He wasn't just in a boat. He was in something else before.
So that's what I had thought too in the moment. But so yeah, Robin is doing the boat, like the speedboat thing on the bottom. And Batman's in the Batplane above.
Yeah.
And then Riddler and Two-Face, because they're playing that game of Battleship. They shoot it down, shoot the plane down. Then Dick is being himself. Whenever he shoots they shoot him down, but then like when he does go down, he ejects, right? Like he ejects from the plane, and then like I don't know, it turns into a fucking boat, I think. And then because he ends up like hooking Robin. No, dude, you know what? I feel like Batman jumped in the boat, maybe.
I
can't even remember.
That's what I mean. Like I now I'm questioning, because in Batman and Robin, he and of course it was just that was just 2 hours of a toy commercial, Batman and Robin.
Exactly.
But at the end, when they're going down the street and they all have their own vehicles, like Robin has, and that's why I was confusing it with. Robin has like a it looks like a Oh man, what are those like boats that people in like Louisiana drive around like hunting for
Oh, the
alligators?
airboats.
Yeah, like a big fan on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Robin had in Batman and Robin.
Oh, that's right, dude.
Like a big ass airboat. I don't know.
That's
whatever.
right. He was
But
from Louisiana.
maybe he was hunting for gators. And I don't know. Now I want to rewatch it and just think like, that was like Robin's just from Louisiana and this is why. Maybe it all makes sense. But yeah, I think I was confusing his boat in Forever with his airboat in Batman and Robin. But
yeah,
it just means I have to rewatch it, I guess. And torture myself.
Yeah. Don't watch Batman and Robin though. Don't do that, dude. Like,
if you look at it as like a comedy, though, man, I feel like
like
I
a
think
bad comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could. It just, it is what it is at this point. It's not going to change. Sometimes I sat down and tried to watch it, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try and even give it a more open mind than I did before. And then I watch it, and I'm like, you know what? I can never get that time back again.
That's true, man. Like time is valuable. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
have it in the background and as you're folding ninja laundry.
Yeah.
That's how I fold laundry every day now ever since that film. But you know what? It's crazy though that movie. I mean, there's not much. There's not many things that are redeemable at all in that movie. However, I still feel like George Clooney as Bruce Wayne. I wish he could get some sort of redemption because I feel like I could really see him as a great Bruce Wayne and possibly Batman. I mean, in Batman and Robin, he didn't even like disguise his voice at all, and there was no torture inside of Bruce Wayne. Like it was almost like he loved doing what he was doing, and like it was like this was just a lot of fun for him. He had nipples on his suit, like a credit card.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, that's exactly what it was for him.
Like there was no brooding.
No.
I don't. Yeah, it's just.
He just played a good rich guy.
He did. He played a great rich guy.
Yeah.
He really did. Yeah.
Yeah. He had the supermodel girlfriend with the huge jugs.
Yeah.
All I remember about that movie.
That's all.
No, I'm just kidding.
That was like the most male response I've ever heard.
No, his girlfriend, the supermodel with the huge
boobs.
Jugs.
There was boobs in that. Bad boobs. Actually, you know what? It's funny. I had mentioned earlier that this guy that I watch on YouTube once in a while, Christian Harloff, and he was rewatching these old Batman films. There was this part in Batman and Robin. I wonder if you guys remember because I kind of forgot it too. But there's a scene where George Clooney is making out with his I think it's just his girlfriend in it, right? And she turns into Poison Ivy all of a sudden, and he's like Ivy, and she's like, and it's like really bad like voice dubbing, like it sounds like the audio doesn't match up with the girl's lips, and she's like Ivy, and he's like, wait, what? And she's like Ivy, like why'd you call me Ivy? And he's like, I wish I knew. Or something like that.
Yeah, can you imagine if you're that girl and you're sitting there in that situation with him and he says, I wish I knew? I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, you're getting hit for sure.
You're getting slapped right across the face.
Like, and she was just like, okay. And he was like, oh, I wish I knew. And I didn't realize how insane that line is. And it was funny because Christian Harloff was doing it with, doing his podcast with two other guys. And he wants to make that line from George Clooney in Batman and Robin, I wish I knew, like a thing. So I was like, oh my God, I'm on with the guys tonight. And like, we need to make this a thing. And I don't know how we're going to do that. But the whole like,
I wish I knew how.
Yeah, I wish I knew.
Oh my God, dude. And he cut like the clip of the movie and would just like kind of play it. And I was hysterical laughing because I didn't realize how fucking ridiculous for him to just be like, I wish I knew. And she was just like, oh, okay, whatever. Let's get back to making out again.
Yeah.
Call Ivy. Dude, yeah.
Well, I mean, with the amount of money he has, he could probably call her whatever he wants.
It's a solid point, man. It's a solid point.
That's fair. Oh, shit.
Oh, man. Well, let's segue, guys. We talked a bunch about these movies, right? And another big one that I wanted to talk about because this is like huge, huge influence on me and Kev. I know yourself, John. I'm not sure how much you watched this growing up, but Batman the animated series is something I really wanted to bring up because that's like what like Batman '89 was first exposure to Batman, but the animated series is what really hammered it in for me. And it's like when I started becoming like disgustingly obsessed with Batman. This is like during the animated series. Like every day coming home from school, like rushing to get home and then like throwing your shit on the floor and just watching it on TV, sitting like this close away from the TV.
Yeah, dude.
Because apparently, like, you're gonna get more when you sit that close.
Yeah.
You did, man. I did the same. You can't get it. I get it. I was like always inside the television. I know.
Yeah. And like that's where you started to like learn about the full rogues gallery that Batman's world has. Like all the rogues and all the big bads that are there. Like we really got to see them play out on screen, and just like the interpretation and the voice actors that they got for each villain was fucking spot on. Is perfect. So like from that point going forward, whenever I would read the comics, it would always be with the animated series people's voices. Like when I'm reading it out to myself, that's what I thought of. So it like left a huge mark on me, dude. And like I don't know what else you could say about other than Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. That's it, really.
Yeah. Sean, did you watch that at all? The
Yeah.
animated series?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So that was a daily routine, coming home from school and seeing that. It was so good that it kind of for me set the standard for all, because I was at the same time as like the '90s like X-Men and '90s like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I was my brother always watched Batman and was really into Batman, and like '90s like X-Men and Spider-Man just felt younger, and like I didn't know why as a kid. But then looking back, I'm like, dude, that set the standard and that set the bar super high. It was just a super well done cartoon. And then looking back on it as like an art student and that whole, style and everything, it's just like, it's timeless, dude. Everybody showed up to that group project, like, and just fucking crushed it, dude. So 100%. Yeah. And during that time too, the thing that I missed out on that my brother caught on to was watching all the animated movies too in the '90s. Because dude, looking back at the style of like watching what is it? The Phantasm.
Oh, Mask of the Phantasm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that watching that back is like taking a fucking an art class. It's like the whole thing is gorgeously well done. Everything is like every frame is knocked out. You can pause every frame and it could be hung up picture on your wall. The whole thing is just beautiful, and then you get into the voice actors and the story and everything written, and it's just an amazing highly slept on like Batman thing to watch. So what about you, Kev?
Oh my God! I mean, Marcus saying like that set the standard. I have to agree with you. People still talk about that animated series today, and I mean that just shows the gravitas that had.
Nice work.
Thank you, sir. How iconic the voice actors were. I think it was a show like an animated show that was ahead of its time. Even the themes that they created for every villain. I used to love when the series first started. There was always a very eerie kind of illustration that would introduce the episode. One in particular was the first time I think they introduced the Scarecrow, and it was kind of the Scarecrow's eyes and smile in the sky, or his mouth made like a, Batman with his cape spread out. Marcus, you can correct me if I'm not, or Sean.
It was something like that.
Yeah, something along those lines. But and like the Two-Face episode, which was ironically a 2-part episode, it was just a black and white. Like this, a very heavy shadow on this individual, but the illustration was very blocky. I mean, everything was just very unique to the villain. Like the minds behind it, Bruce Timm, and I can't think of anybody else right now, unfortunately. But the amount of work and passion that they put into the series is remarkable. It still holds up today, and I still think when I think back to when the series was actually on television and how old I was at the time. There's some episodes because I have, of course, 4 seasons on DVD, and one of my favorite episodes, and I'm wondering, like, as a kid, why would I find this entertaining? One of my favorite episodes was where the villains in Arkham kidnap Batman and they put him on trial. And there's a DA, female DA, who has been against Batman and wants to bring Batman into custody because she feels as if his presence is what causes these villains to arise. And they basically put him on trial. The Joker's the judge, and that the reason that the villains are the way they are is because of someone like Batman. And then the DA who's against Batman is forced to be his attorney and to actually defend Batman in that, we're grateful for him because he is what is able to prevent you from, doing your thing as a villain. That was really awfully said. But just such a compelling episode. And it was not so much about, like, action and beat 'em up. It was more psychological. And for some reason, that is one of the episodes that I remember the most. And it's just like, wow, like for a kid's animated television show, it's crazy. And I think I appreciate that more as an adult. So, and again, Sean, like you said, The Mask of the Phantasm, what an incredible story, an incredible movie, which I would love to see them incorporate into live action someday. I'm not saying you got to do beat for beat, but I think it's a strong enough story, and I think there's a strong enough fan base where they could probably do that. But I talking about this makes me want to just like sit back and start watching the animated series again.
Oh, dude, yeah. I've been doing that little by little. Like, if I have nothing else to do and I'm just kind of hanging out, I'll put it on and it just pick up right where I left off when I stopped watching it. And dude, good call with the that one episode that you were talking about when he was on trial, because that was like, that's the first time that you've really started to think about the psychology of Batman, and like, he's not that far away from being one of these crazy fucking people that he's putting away. They're really, really close, and he almost gets there, and that's where the Joker comes in and tries to show him all the time, like, dude, you're actually like me. You're actually like us. Like, you're pretty much there. You're one accidental kill away from being exactly like us. And he always struggles with that. But that was like the first time as a fan where you're like, whoa, it's not just a good guy kicking bad guys' asses in a cool suit. There's a lot more going on under the hood, and that's good stuff. That episode is awesome.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Sean.
No,
Go
it's
ahead.
all good. Just real quick, like, it's so insane that was on primetime kid TV, and
Yeah.
and I remember it to this day. And just like you said, Marcus, that was the first time I ever questioned Batman.
Yeah. It's good. Like, it's good that they wrote that episode and like force you to look at things that way. Which has always been, I think, the intention of the character, but like they did it in a way that's easy to digest. Um in a children's format. Like, and speaking of format though, dude, that show is so good. Like, one of the reasons it's so good is that, like, they're these really, really concise, small little packages, and they're only 30 minutes long, right? But like, they tell the story from start to finish, and then like you can just pick up on the next one, and it's a totally different story. And they do such a good job at finishing the story, starting it, or I'm sorry, finishing it, ending it, and like you feel good. You don't feel like you need to watch more of it. It's like it's done in that 30 minutes. And Kev, to your point, it's amazing how they started off, because they started off with that cool animation, the title slide of the
Yeah.
episode. And then whatever villain it is, they're playing the theme of that villain while that title screen is on. So like you get the vibe of like what's going to happen for the episode. And then they just, like, their use of music, they play the theme for that show pretty much the entire time in the background of the show, and just in different ways. And like, that shit is brilliant. But like, you don't really realize it until you're an adult and you're watching back again. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's so good.
It's crazy, man. I mean, even however many years later. I can't do the math in my head. I'm trying to think when the series started. It may have been 92 or 93. But I can still hear the Joker theme, the Mad Hatter theme, the Two-Face theme in my head, and it's just, I mean, gosh, I don't know, just what that says about that show. And Marcus, to actually, I would love to segue into this, sort of about the relationship between Batman and Joker. And to go back to Batman and Robin just real quick, I feel like we wouldn't have the Nolan films unless that movie existed.
Yeah.
So I guess that movie did like one good thing. But one of the to skip to the Dark Knight real quick, because Batman Begins is out of the Nolan trilogy, and I think this is maybe an unpopular opinion. Batman Begins is actually my favorite out of the Nolan trilogy. I know everybody says The Dark Knight, and I totally get it. I 100% get it. But there's something about Batman Begins and what Nolan did to introduce Batman, like reintroduce Batman. Just something about that movie. I connect with. But as far as as well as the animated series did, telling the relationship between Joker and Batman, I think The Dark Knight hit the nail on the head as well. Again, I've probably said this multiple times before on like other podcasts we had done or whatever, and I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but the scene at the end of The Dark Knight where the Joker's hanging upside down and finally, tells Batman, that those two are destined to do it forever, and that it was never, Joker's intention was never to kill Batman, or I think he says to end it in a fist fight with you. How there's just like crazy weird obsession that Joker has with Batman, and Batman has with Joker, and just their dynamic, their yin and their yang. Like, it's just I can't think of any more. I can't think of another iconic, hero villain duo in comics the way that their relationship is. So yeah, I mean, if you have more to say about the animated series, I'm all for that. But as soon as you said Joker and Batman, it instantly made me think of, oh my gosh, we still have like the Nolan trilogy.
Oh, dude, yeah, we knew this was gonna be, like I said, this was our hype episode for the movie coming out in a few weeks. So we're doing it. We're doing it
episode.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Why not? Ty's here. What's up, Ty?
Oh, what's up, dude?
Yeah, Ty says, I have a buddy from the island whose favorite of the trilogy is Dark Knight Rises. I just can't get over Heath Ledger's performance. That's what takes the cake for me, which is why I'm my favorite in the trilogy. 100%.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, and Kev,
he's saying that from hiding in a corner at work. Thanks for being sneaky and jumping on, dude.
Appreciate you.
True Batman fashion.
Dude, and Kev, I think it the first one just relates to you and hones in with you, and I think it goes back to those earlier movies. It's the samurai undertones in the Nolan one. It brings you back to your roots of all the ninja laundry folding and towel folding. So I think it just hit a nostalgia note.
Blew my mind, dude. Oh my God. How much do I owe you for this therapy session? I just figured out.
Oh, dude,
I just figured out why I like Batman Begins so much.
Yeah. You owe me nothing. Just come to my retreat in a few months, dude. I'll free of charge.
Yeah,
we just
back
need bodies.
With long ass hair.
As long as I get one of those awesome headbands.
Yeah, dude.
As soon as you enter, we just give it to you.
And dude, yeah, the whole ninja undertone, like if it's jumping back to the animated series, they have that samurai episode.
Yep.
Yeah, remember and yeah, Sean, you too. The animation was fucking beautiful in that episode. When him and the ninja were fighting at the very end, like on that volcano. And you just see the silhouettes fighting each other, and they're sword fighting and fucking, it's so sick, dude. But yeah, like so, there's always been like a lot of ninja, samurai undertones, like for real though, like not even joking around. Like it's always been that way.
Yeah,
totally.
Throughout the thing, and there's so many parallels to ninjas too. Because he's in the shadows too, and like I got to be stealthy, and the name of the game is stealth. But you can also kick ass too.
Yeah.
But the one I did want to bring up from the animated series, um, there's 3, and I'll make this real quick. But there's the one that's Almost Got Him is the title of the episode, and it's where every villain is sitting down at their hideout, and they're all telling stories about how they almost got Batman.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it shows each of the memories going on, and they almost do get him, each one of them, but he pulls through at the end. And that's
Mhm.
one of my favorite episodes because you just get all the villains in one room just talking about how they're like, "Damn, we almost got him," but then they didn't.
Yes.
And then isn't Batman like at the end? Isn't he like watching the entire time? No, he was fucking. Who was he? He was was
Scarecrow or
what
somebody.
villain was he? He was
That's
one of the villains, right? And he pulls
Yeah.
off the mask at the end,
Yeah.
and he was sitting there the whole
He
time.
Scooby Doo's them.
Yeah.
Just a word more.
Yeah, dude.
You almost got away with it, but it was me the whole time. The reverse Scooby Doo.
Yeah, Batman taking himself to jail. It's the long game. The long game. So there's that one's really fun. The next one though, dude, that I really love, the What Is Reality is what it's called, and it's the one with the Riddler. And I think it might be the first one that the Riddler's in. And remember, it's that video game. Robin's obsessed with playing it, and you have to go through a maze. There's like a Minotaur, I think, and
yeah.
Joker recreates that in real life, and they go and try and get him,
They
and
get
all of the
stuck.
shit that happened in the game was happening in real life to them.
Yeah.
And there's all these like puzzles, and it was so cool because they had to go and they had to figure out the puzzles and like get through, and that shit was awesome, dude. That shit was really cool.
That was the Riddler with like the white eyes and the bowler cap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
super sick. I don't know
Yeah.
how we went from that to orange hair Jim Carrey with like a question mark suit and all
Yeah. With the question mark unitard. That was just like a callback again
The
to like the
units.
60s. Like with who played the Riddler in the 60s? What was his name? Frank Goshen or something like
Yeah.
that.
No, I think you're right. I think you hit that shit on the head. Oh my god.
Yeah, man. It was just a callback to that, just like the skin tight question mark everywhere. And now we have someone who looks like the Zodiac Killer. Like, go figure. Like, I would just like to see a side by side of like all the Riddlers we've had over the years.
That's a good one, dude. That real quick, that brings that back to the goofy Batman films, but still to this day, I haven't gone back and watched it. But one of my favorite things was Two-Face, dude. I think.
Oh hell yeah!
I loved like his dual suit, like the fucking loud ass animal prints, and then his his
from
face
Forever?
was
Tommy.
yeah. Tommy Lee Jones from Batman Forever, like his whole like colored face. I thought that was sick. And then seeing the animated series Two-Face, I was like, this one's pretty dope. But Tommy Lee Jones is still
the animal print. Yeah. Oh my
that was
god.
so sick.
His hideout was like he had 2 different chicks. His hideout for like the good
One of
side.
them was Drew Barrymore. She was the angel.
Oh shit! I didn't know
Was in
that.
it.
Yeah,
Dude. Oh my god. Did you guys? Oh, sorry, Marcus. You were going to tell us more episodes. I'm sorry.
No,
Where I going with
all over the place here, dude. But
I know. I'm sorry.
no, it was sick. So just the Riddler one, because that's the villain that's coming out in this new one, and fucking that's gonna be so good. I can't. That's gonna be totally different. But we'll get there. That'll be the last thing we spill over. But the last one, dude, just like the villain that I would like to see in live action based on the animated series was from the episode Feet of Clay, and that one was a 3-part episode, and it was with Clayface. And we haven't had a super, well, I guess Poison Ivy's that way too, but like a really fantastical villain that like is like it's not real. That shit would never happen. But to have Clayface, you could really make that thing scary. Because I remember Clayface scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So creepy in the show, and if they did that in real life, that would be insane. I'd like to see it, though. That'd be cool,
bro.
You know what's interesting? Oh, sorry, Sean.
No, you're good. You're good, Kev. Go for it.
I was just going to say, it's so interesting you bring that up, and I would love to get both of your opinions on this. I feel like I keep hearing more and more people rooting for Clayface to be a live-action villain, and I guess, not that I'm against that, because I think Clayface is a great villain, but I guess, like you said, Marcus, it's one of the more, like, fantastical, supernatural-esque villains in the Batman world, and I feel like with what we're getting now, it's more grounded, and I don't know how Matt Reeves would do something like that, but I mean, when you say that, I would love to know your opinion. Like, what is it about Clayface that you want to that you're rooting for him to be like the next big live action villain? Like, what would you love that?
I like it because of the way that they explored it in the anime series with this actor who's his self confidence. He doesn't have any self confidence, so in order to nail these roles and get these roles, it's like the role of action for him to get that. I don't know what the fuck it was. It was like I don't forget what he got consumed by. He fell into that vat of of something. It's always falling into a vat of something.
Yeah, there's always that.
Yeah, it's just a vat of
Random
tons of chemicals.
wasn't that what we were saying a few episodes ago? Everything is either goo or gas. It's like how did you become this way? Oh, it was liquid got spilled on me in a lab. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or gas, gas was released. But I was laughing like hell because Marcus, that's the same fucking note that I have is I'm like, Clayface fucking killed it on the animated series, and I feel like we've never seen him like since, and like just like you, dude, it scared the shit out of me. But as a kid, like I always liked the villains. I guess that's why I ended up wearing a headband. But but like, the villains, like I was always intrigued by the villains and shit, and Clayface, just watching him mold and go in and out of like his different forms, and like I feel like he had a lot of like dialogue and shit. Well, you said it was 3 episodes long, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But dude, it was, I feel like we need a live action Clayface for sure. I don't know if it fits in the Robert Pattinson realism world,
but
yeah, I don't know.
It's mostly because he's just an actor and isn't like trying to take over anything or go rob or go kill people. He was forced into being that way. Because he didn't mean. Oh, it was those people that it was a shape, or it was like it made your skin tighter or something, right? Like it made you look younger, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a cream, and so and then he got fucked over by this gang, and then they held him down and opened his mouth, and they just poured like a shit ton of it in him. That's what happened.
And didn't he melt like after that?
Yeah.
Like right after that?
Something like that, yeah. But like that's how he was able to change his face in the movies or something, right? Like he was like molding his face into different actors, and so he played different roles.
That's why he was always like under disguise. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then he was gonna run out of cream, so he was trying to get more. I'm just all coming back to me now for the episode. But like the idea of him not being a terrible person, but like he didn't mean to change into Clayface. Somebody did that to him. But so like now he's got this like inner like I have vengeance because people did this to me, so I'm pissed. But like he's not a bad guy, so it would be cool to see him and Batman interact, and Batman's trying to help him and get through to him, instead of trying to just take him down. I mean, like like it would be interesting to see how that would play out.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. You're actually convincing me that Clayface could be a really compelling villain. I do. One of the things I remember the most about the animated series during that episode was where I think Batman had him in like some sort of control room, and there was all these different faces that were coming up on the screens, and he kept morphing into the different faces, like, screaming, and it was really intense. It was intense again.
Another camping movie.
But I think if you had, I kind of like the idea of having Clayface as almost a sympathetic villain. I feel like that could work, and even in a live action movie. Where, I mean, there could be conversations that, Batman could be having with Jim Gordon, but it's actually Clayface the whole time. And, so I guess the only thing that I question is, depending, once we finally see the Batman, if Matt Reeves were to introduce a villain like Clayface, and once you see Clayface in his true form, you know, to me, it just seems like it's going to be a huge CG kind
Yeah.
of. Is that going to really throw things off, like from the world that Matt Reeves like introduced us in this movie? But maybe there's elements in the Batman because we don't know that we may get characters like Mister Freeze, Poison Ivy. So I don't know.
Yeah, it would be interesting, for sure. We won't know until we see the movie, like what
Yeah.
kind of tone and vibe and everything. But dude, yeah, it would be sick. But yeah, I don't know if it would work in this world, and I just want to see it on screen at some point with a good Batman. But like, yeah, it would be sick, dude. Hopefully we see it one day.
Dude, and I think the challenge of putting something fantastical into like something super grounded and real, I think if you can do it right, I think it would be like one of the most incredible, like stories and movies. I'm trying to
Mhm.
think if there's any other example, and I don't know if there
Uh,
is.
dude, I think the closest we could come is Marvel, but like even then, they have gods and all that stuff, so it's not. It's already set in that
Yeah,
world.
I
Star.
mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like brainstorming now. Like, I feel like if you were to maybe say if Matt Reeves were to introduce Clayface in the universe he's building, maybe you don't have a crazy CGI mud looking monster. Maybe you have just like a really grotesque looking man
Oh,
that is able to use some sort of drug that is able to, you know what I mean, like able
Turns
to.
him into some superstar actor or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe you can go that route. I mean, again, to bring up the new Riddler that we're getting. I mean, it's a dude that's very reminiscent of the Zodiac killer. Like, it's not a dude in a bowler hat with a bunch of question marks all over his outfit. You know what I mean? In a bright green suit and a cane.
Yeah,
So maybe that could happen. I don't know.
that
I
could
don't
be
it'd
know.
be
really
awesome.
sick.
Yeah.
Um, that's all I got for the animated series. But dude, again, that was the one that fucking nailed it in for me. That was my favorite character in world. I just love to be in the Batman world, and the animated series expanded it so much that like that's just like that's where the standard is for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Awesome,
it's
dude.
it's coming back, baby. We're getting another
Oh,
one in 2023.
It's
It's
crazy.
some of
I
the
never
original
thought
people.
that would ever happen, but I'm
I
so.
know, dude. What do you think about the ears, dude? Do you think I don't I'm not sure if I like them. They're so fucking big.
Let me look it
There,
up because I don't remember
um,
it. And
so to me, well, not to me, but it's very reminiscent of the of one of the original Batman illustrations.
Mhm.
Um, I can picture the image in my head where it's like Batman and he has like his hands on his hips and he's got this. It's similar ears and a similar cowl,
Yeah.
and it's kind of it is. It's a little silly looking. And when I had first seen the promo image of this, and I
Yeah.
thought I was a little taken back too, and I thought, well, maybe this is just their way of just showing that hey, we're going to get another animated series, but this isn't what our Batman's going to look like. But apparently, that's what the
Yeah.
Batman's.
We're
let
gonna
me
get that for
let me
sure.
switch it over
Yeah.
real quick. Just to
Oh yeah, here we go.
is
So everybody
this?
watching can see.
Let me see. Wrong screen, of course.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yep,
there
here
we
it
go.
is.
Okay,
There we go.
is that
Yes.
those are the ears, right?
Yeah. Dude, it looks like Man Bat from the
It
animated series, the
it
way the
looks
ears
like
are.
it looks like Maleficent, dude.
Oh yeah, that too. He looks like he's
Dude,
got horns.
all right,
Yeah.
I'm never watching this series anymore.
Oh, that
uh,
sucks, man. I don't know if I saw this or blocked this out of my memory.
that sucks.
It's just
That
too
sucks.
big.
I,
Um,
I don't know,
but
dude. It, I don't know. I don't know how I feel
I
just
think,
yet.
yeah, you got to
we have
see
to
it
see an
moving.
episode first. We'll watch an episode and see what we think.
Yeah.
But for everybody that's watching that doesn't know, this animated series has got the same showrunner from the original one coming back to do it again. And also, Matt Reeves is stepping in as executive producer. What the fuck's the other guy? The guy
J.J. Abrams, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the fuck his name? Abram?
J.J.
JJ
Abrams.
Abrams. Yeah,
JJ
yeah.
Abrams.
He's gonna be there too. So it's just, dude, I can't wait to see what they come up with.
Yeah, hopefully it's
I
good,
think the
dude.
story's gonna be great. Just the ear.
Hopefully.
Dude, I had high hopes for the looks after seeing like the initial stuff that they showed at fandom. Um,
Mhm.
but after seeing the ears, man, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna reserve judgment until I see like how it moves. Cause
Yeah.
like, dude, they look like they would be floppy a little bit, have like
Yeah, dude.
just a little delay.
I mean, like if it, you know what I mean? Like I picture, like an iconic Batman image is Batman on a gargoyle while it's raining, and I feel like with ears like that, they're just gonna like droop down in his face, and as he's looking over the city, he just constantly has to like move these droopy
until
out
he
of the
puts
way.
until he
Like it's
puts
Steve
on his
Ryan.
bat
Dude.
headband.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
he
know.
doesn't
Maybe
even
an episode where Robin now, where Alfred comes in and just like trims him. He's like, you know what? These have been really bothering me, Mr. Wayne, and if we could just, little snip here and
He
there.
has like a pit bull look afterwards, dude.
he doesn't yeah.
The crop
One
ears.
ear's like longer than the other.
He he doesn't even need the cape, man. He just got the ears. There's like a parachute.
Jesus. But if
But
if somehow they draw an illustrator at the right angles where it's not as crazy as it looks, full on,
yeah.
it could be saved. There's ways to save it and do it, but that image is not a good look.
No,
I wonder what made him. It's the same creators of the animated series. Like, why not just go with what you had before? I mean, that works so well. Like, why were you like change the ears?
yeah, dude. Yeah, let's see what it looks like if he like his ears look like yams. Dude, it kind
Yeah,
of look like a fucking yam.
they do.
Um
That's
weird.
funny, dude. Yeah, that's
But
over the years he's grown his ears, and then that was the end of the meeting, and the fucking
dude,
illustrator's
Make them
like,
longer. They're
yeah,
long enough. They're like off the
yeah,
what
fucking
the fuck am I
frame.
dude,
supposed
yeah.
to do?
Make
Yeah,
'em
like
long-
I can't even draw any further than that. Dude, it's like fucking being like coattails. Um I wanna so we'll take a horizontal step. So we'll go from animated series to I want to talk about the Arkham games because that was another huge Batman thing that like really fucking made me love Batman even more than
Yeah, oh,
before.
yeah.
You too, dude.
Yeah, it was a major thing, and I completely missed it. So
Oh,
please,
dude.
Oh
I
man, I'm
saw all
sorry.
the images and stuff that came of it, but I've never played those games. I saw some of the
Oh,
stories, and like it seems
Wow.
super dope, dude. So I
dude.
might get into it now that I'm getting into PC gaming and
Yeah,
stuff.
you should, man. Like, dude, stream it on fucking Twitch here. That were you playing it for the first time. I'd watch it. I'd watch you play the whole game.
I watched the
This
shit.
is like, dude, the story of each game is incredible on its own. As if it was a comic or an animated movie or something like that would be fucking awesome. But
Yeah,
you're playing it in real time, and so like as a Batman story, not even the game itself, but just the story itself is fucking awesome.
yeah. It's and I'm not a big gamer, but I played all the Batman games. They were incredible. I don't even know what to compare it to again because I'm not an avid video game person, and I'll make that known. But the Arkham games were incredible, and like Mark said, they were incredible stories. I think my favorite was Arkham City,
Mhm.
which I think was the second game in the series, and then they had done like a prequel game, right? Arkham Origins.
Arkham Origins, yeah, different company. They did
Yeah,
it was Rocksteady did the original ones, and then they went to did WB Montreal or something,
that's correct. That's
did
correct.
Arkham. Wow, that's correct. Holy shit.
Yeah, you are right, my friend.
Wow.
Which I
Yeah,
thought was a great game too. Arkham Origins. I thought that was really underrated. A lot of people weren't huge fans of it, but I thought that was a pretty decent game.
it
Uh,
was.
but yeah, they were. Yeah, Sean. Shit, if you could, I don't know if you have like any game consoles, but I know for I have a PS4, which I don't know why because I don't play games. So they're mainly just for like Blu-rays. Which I don't even watch Blu-rays anymore because we have all these streaming services. Anyways, so I just waste a ton of money all the time. But they re-released Arkham Asylum, which was the first game, and Arkham City for like the PS4 and I think Xbox One. But now there's like newer of both those consoles. So fuck, I don't even know.
Yeah, dude.
But
I'm doing everything PC based, so there might be some hoops to jump through, but I could probably get it and go through it. That would actually be a good game to play through on the stream.
Would.
dude, yeah, I'm sure you could get it for PC.
Pretty on brand. Yeah. 100%, dude. If it's not in a normal like game store, there's somebody out there making a PC version or PC friendly like hack to it. So that would be sick.
Yeah. Well, I won't talk about storyline if you're actually gonna play it because
No, dude.
like there's a lot of good shit that comes to that game.
I forgot what I ate for breakfast, dude. So please, I'll forget in like 10 minutes. I'm like a goldfish.
Well, I think mostly I just wanted to get across that like the games were fucking like amazing, and it's just another way to absorb Batman content that's not just watching movies or the animated show, but like playing the game because it makes you feel like you're Batman when you're going through it, like everything is happening to you. And like the cool part about the games is you're also figuring out you're doing the detective side of it too. So that's which is
Yeah,
not typically something that they explore in the TV show or any of the movies up until this one that's coming out soon, which is why I'm so fucking pumped for this one because we're finally going to see that. But like, yeah, that's what made the games fun too, dude. Is just like you felt like you were Batman doing these things and having to solve the puzzles and everything to fucking. It was sick. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
that's the dynamic, video games add is you're pushing the story forward. And
Yeah.
I would have to say, because you're saying it came out like PS3, PS4.
yeah. So they originally came out for. I think I played it
PS3.
originally on like Xbox 360.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
so VR was a thing, but it was very early days, right?
I don't think VR was a thing when the first one came out.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say it's such a missed opportunity to have imagine a VR goggle that's the cowl.
Dude, they actually have a Batman VR game for it's only for PlayStation though.
Bro,
So it was
they
for PlayStation VR.
if they're not selling a cowl VR headset,
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah,
You're
we're
honest.
all buying it. We're all becoming Batman in our living room, dude.
So
yeah, I get
Batman
people are now like, you're Batman again. Could you actually like have a real job, or could you go out to the grocery store because our son's hungry? And I'm like, I'm just serving justice right now.
How could you see me? I'm in the shadows.
Yeah, how can you see me right now?
all the lights are off.
You're in the
dude.
fucking room, so that's all I can see. You jackass. You're 33 years old. Yeah,
Yeah.
go do something.
Go get a job, all right?
Yeah, go get a job and get a haircut, please.
All the crime has been fought in this house. There's no more crime.
crimes all the time. What do you mean?
Yeah, you just hear the angry dad in the back in the other room. Will you shut the fuck up?
I start saying to my wife, I'm like, wait, who are you working for? Do you know Two-Face?
Yeah, dude.
Where
This
is
is
she?
crazy. I'm going to my parents' house. This is ridiculous.
Where is she?
Yeah.
You're like
Shows up
shaking your kid, talking about your wife that left you. Where is she?
Are you Clayface? No, that's your fucking son, you idiot. Yeah, he's 1 year old. So yeah, that's who that is. And shows up at her parents, and they're like, "Ugh, is Kev being Batman again?" She's like, "It's nonstop." He fucking
She
thinks he's Batman.
just shakes her head.
Dude, as you just
Yes.
you're in your Batman
Like-
onesie with the fucking belly hanging out and just
I'm just
look
like in the
nothing
living
like
room,
him.
like
Crushing bat beers, dude.
Yeah, dude.
just hammered, just like
That's-
pouring on like the
Yeah.
electronic cow with like there's sparks everywhere.
That's all that's on your gadget belt is just cans.
just beers. I'm not doing anything for society. I'm just getting hammered.
Beating people up in VR chat.
There's
This
fucking
fucking
crumbs
kid
in your
from
crumbs in
Germany
your beard.
was calling me a bitch. I had to take care of him. I'm not gonna let him do that.
Not in Gotham.
Dude,
Batman just smells like beer.
Gotham is such a shithole.
It is such a shithole, man. Oh my god.
It would smell like beer.
It would smell like the urinals when you go to a football game. You know that distinct fucking smell of piss, just like all over the floor and everything, and it just gross, dude. But like drunk piss, not regular piss, but like you can smell the booze coming off the piss.
Like,
It's a really distinct smell.
Dehydrated piss, just
it's getting baked because somebody's Jackson Pollock in there just painting the walls, and it's just so. The alcohol, the pee, the just baking on the walls and on the hot cement ground, dude.
Yeah, people in Gotham just like shitting like just in random spots. Just why not? Just like pulling their pants down.
Wow, we really took that one.
Yeah,
as far as we can go.
Where are we? What happened?
We extended our A4 all the way.
That was a true extend your A4 moment.
Shit. So shit, where should we go to?
Yeah, you guys were still talking the games. Correct me if I'm wrong, so the killing joke, was that part of the Arkham Asylum game? Did that come afterwards? And
the comic or the movie?
No, because isn't there, I could be totally fucking everything up, but wasn't there there's like this image of Batman, with lockdown, with the spikes around his face, but he has like a Joker smile. I thought that was part of Arkham Asylum, and I thought that was tied into like a killing joke part of that story. I could be completely wrong.
That one is the Batman who laughs.
Yeah, the Bat who laughs. That's what it is. The killing joke is the classic comic and everything. Yeah,
yes, correct.
I was thinking of the Bat who laughs, but
yeah.
Goldfish memory,
Yeah, that one came out way after the games did. Did you say goldfish moment?
Goldfish memory, dude. They apparently their memories, like, some lady proved it wrong, but their memory is thought to be like 3 seconds or some shit. But
how did that lady figure? Did she have a conversation with a goldfish?
No, dude, bro.
And she like, you didn't fucking remember. I got you, goldfish. I fucking got you.
No,
I knew what you were.
Real quick. It was 8. It wasn't 9. No, it was actually the opposite. So this chick actually proved that goldfish have a longer memory because she trained it to do tricks and shit, like jumping out of water, going through hoops, swimming shit, like for treats. So that was the experiment that proved it. Yeah.
Can you imagine the type of fucking time that you have to sit there and train your goldfish?
That's what I'm saying. I killed mine when I was, and not deliberately.
Yeah, they're suicidal for sure.
I was like
I drowned that son of a bitch.
Yeah, like I fed it too much fucking food, and like the next day it was floating on the top, and I was like, I think that's right.
I don't think he liked the salami I gave him.
He wasn't a fan of charcuterie. It fucking was floating on the top of the bowl. Yeah.
That's hella funny. But yeah, my bad,
seconds. Dude. 3 seconds. We got in the chat.
Joel says 3 seconds. Yeah. But yeah, okay. So yeah, Arkham Asylum, I think is another. That was another big ass game, right? That everybody fucking played the shit out of.
Yeah, that was the first one, man. That one was, I don't know. That just paved the way.
Sorry, dude. Go reading the chat. Joel says, "Don't feel bad about killing the fish. It wasn't going to remember anyways."
Oh, that's true. That's awesome. Oh man, goldfish jokes, dude. Oh fuck.
You don't remember shit when you're dead.
Back.
That's awesome.
Let's talk real quick. Let's talk about the warehouse scene from Batman v Superman.
Oh, okay.
Because Kev was like, okay.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Dude, I fantasize about that scene just like randomly throughout the day.
Dude, like for the longest time,
exactly where you
was my favorite Batman movie.
Yeah, dude, just because of that scene.
The scene itself, that was like the scene was my favorite Batman film. Like, because it was just, I felt like, wow, it took us like quite a while for us to actually watch like what Batman is, how he's supposed to fight.
Yeah. Because dude, yeah,
Um,
the initial like the Michael Keaton ones and Val Kilmer and George Clooney, like their movements were really slow and like they didn't have much flexibility in those
they
suits
couldn't
either.
turn their head. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you turn your whole body
Turn-
if you turn. Um, yeah, which sucks for them as actors, but
it's exhausting.
so when they were choreographing fight scenes, I mean, I'm sure they had to do stuff that was like slower movement style and like they couldn't really kick ass, right? They had to rely on their gadgets and everything.
Yeah,
So, and then Christian Bale's, the way that Christopher Nolan shot all those fight scenes, like it was the camera moved so fast, like you didn't get a chance to see what was happening.
Yeah.
You could tell like some stuff was going on, but like it was
It was
just
like
really,
horror movie action scenes.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And so like that kind of sucked. But then we finally got the warehouse scene because Zack Snyder knows how to create a really good comic book style. Like the way that it was shot, the movements. He fought. You could see it happening. He was clearly kicking these people's asses, and he was using like he was fighting right, brawling with these people, just owning them, and also pulling out gadgets too in between to help. You know, with he used the grappling gun to shoot the fucking guy, the goon, and then pull him back to him, and then he fucking punched
That
him, and
was
he fell down.
sick.
Like
Oh, dude.
that was or doing it with the crate, you know, using your grappling gun with the crate, and then he fucking threw the crate across the room, and it smashed that dude against the wall. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, he was just owning these people violently, and it was like I remember watching it, and like, dude, my mouth was on the floor. I was like screaming because I'd never seen anything like that before. He used the I remember I screamed at this moment. He used his batarang, right? And like he like threw it and it hit the dude and he fucking just went down. And that was the first time I saw it being used properly in a movie. And
And not cutting
it was
something
so
or
yeah, dude,
hitting
it was
something
fucking
else. Yeah.
awesome. It was just perfectly timed too because it was just he like did a counter move and like threw it at the right moment and it hit the guy. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is so fucking sick."
Yeah.
But that was awesome, man.
Dude, and I don't know, Kev, I don't know if you know this, but I just barely recently watched that show. Like when we were starting Legion of Geeks, I was like, okay, you know, I gotta catch up. I was purely like Marvel and totally invested, and I was like, you know, I almost made a choice because I was like, you know, again, I'm in my 30s. I'm like, I gotta do more shit than just fucking watch comic book adaptations. But
What else is there to do?
but then I was like, okay, so this show gives me excuse to catch up on DC side. So
Yeah.
within a span of like a week, I think I watched
Everything.
like 4 or 5 or 6 different DC films that led up to Zack Snyder's, you know, his cut. And like you know, and I watched his black and white, you know, original Justice League. I had seen the other one in the movie theaters, but I quickly forgot about it. And then
So did we all. Yeah.
yeah, and then so Zack Snyder, you know, culminated. But I remember that scene, and Marcus, just like you were saying, I was watching it and I was like, I don't think we've seen anything like this, especially out of Batman. Because it's
Right.
like in the games, in the comics, like this is how he is. Like, you know, and it's awesome that it came out after the video games because that was probably a lot of people were like, you know, where's all this shit in the movies? And then boom, you got it. And like that scene where he is using the grappling hook to bring shit and like, you know, beat people or and the one shot kind of feel of that whole scene was just so sick. And I was like, okay, this is done super well. Like, you know, I honestly like when it first came out, I totally judged Batman v Superman. I was like, oh, dude, that's just a cash grab, like for sure. Like, you know, people are gonna pay to see that. But they actually made it make sense, and it was a really really good movie. So I was super surprised.
Yeah, dude. I know I had said earlier when I originally had seen the theatrical version of Batman v Superman, I was very disappointed. There was just so many things I critiqued on it, and instead of just trying to enjoy myself, I couldn't do it. But the Ultimate Edition, I stand by that movie even today. I think that's a fantastic movie. It's really heavy, but I think there's just a lot of the subject matter is really heavy, and it's very different than any other comic book movie. It's just there's something about it. I don't know. I think it's a really I personally I think it's a very special and underrated comic book film.
Right.
But the way that Batman was handled is a Batman I think that I know me in particular, and it sounds like you guys as well have been waiting to see. So that's why I was kind of disappointed that at first that Ben Affleck was not going to continue as Batman, because as far as uh, the best comic book representation of what Batman is like physically, I thought Ben Affleck was, I mean, like spot on. I mean, not just the suit, but just the way he looked as Bruce Wayne. He had more of like this bigger hulking kind of body.
Yeah.
Reminded me of like Frank Miller's like Dark Knight Returns comic. Like I don't know. I was like, holy shit! Like this is absolutely perfect. And matched up against Henry Cavill's like he is Superman as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So I was kind of disappointed to learn like, wow, we finally got the Batman where we were, watching these well choreographed fight scenes, but now it looks like I know we keep like slowly heading towards
We're
it.
almost there, dude. I feel like we're about right around the corner.
Like what Matt Reeves is doing, it seems like he's like, I hear you, I get it, and we're gonna do that. Exactly what you guys have been wanting to see and got a little bit of a glimpse of from Zack Snyder. I'm gonna do that as well. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and you hit it the nail on the head too. With he was the thick Batman, the triple C thick Batman that we've seen in the cartoons and in the comics. But it was his suit. At first, I was like, man, this is way too high tech. But then I educated myself and I was like, okay, this is that's the only way he can fight Superman is bulking up and getting these big ass plates and going a little bit more robotic. But the way it was, like, I would say almost like the speed changes where you could feel the weight of the suit, but then he could still move and like power through it all. I was like, holy shit, like, okay, like he is the strong, the crazy ass, fucking ninja trained like Batman. Like you could feel that. So and side note, I'm glad because Ben Affleck was, going through a ton of shit during that time apparently. So I'm like, good for him. He got out of it. But
dude, Kevin and I were just talking about that.
Perfect.
Yeah, dude.
Like I think it was before we started and you went to go grab, I think, your drinks or whatever, and we were just talking about that, dude, that like the shit that Ben Affleck was going through in real life actually really served him well for playing Batman, because like all the terrible shit that he was going through, like that just translated through, and it was actually like ironic, that he was playing Batman, to he's able to show that without even meaning to.
Yeah,
totally.
So it was there. But fun little fact about that fight scene when he was all armored up. I think it was because Zack Snyder often goes on his social media account Vero. I don't use Vero, but I know he does. He's really big on it, and so he'll interact with fans and like post little like behind the scenes things or little notes from when he was doing these movies. And he was saying that when they were on the roof and Batman shot a smoke grenade at him, Superman caught it, right, and then exploded, but it didn't do anything. But it was just a smoke, and he couldn't see him after that. He didn't know where he went.
Yeah.
So smoke isn't going to stop Superman from like not being able to see him. So I had never thought about it before, but apparently the reason why he couldn't see him even through the smoke or like know where he was because Batman lined the inside of the suit with lead, and because he knew to do it, and that's why he couldn't see him. But I thought that I was like, we will never know that because they don't say it. Like he's not going to talk through like what he's doing, which he could in the Robert Pattinson one because he's going to narrate like while he's doing stuff. So to hear that part of it would have been cool. Well, like we would have never known that kind of thing, but like Zack Snyder has to say why or what he did. And it would be cool to know that kind of shit when we're watching it. But because you don't really think about it, but when you do hear it, you're like, whoa, like he really knew what he was doing when he was writing that scene, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
And Sean, so that that like mech suit, that Batman wears. I mentioned the Dark Knight Returns comic from, I think it was from like the 80s from Frank Miller. If you haven't checked that out, well, the comic itself is incredible, and I think it did a lot for the Batman character, the way that people looked at him, like it could be a darker story. But there's actually a really good animated movie, and Marcus, I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I watched it recently.
Oh, you did? Oh, it's so
Yeah,
good. I'm
part
sure it's
1
on
and 2.
HBO Max. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's on HBO Max.
But yeah, Sean, if you haven't, like, it's a two-parter of The Dark Knight Returns, and that suit is from that. There's actually a fight between Superman and Batman while he wears that. The reason why they're fighting is a little different than the way that the Snyder film was. But as far as the animated movies go, that's one of the best DC.
Yeah. Wow, dude. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out.
It's a great story. It's like Batman. He's like in like his late 50s, like early 60s. He's like an alcoholic. He's just kind of like given up and decides to kind of come out of retirement as Batman to take something that's happening in Gotham. It's a really great story. It's a really compelling story.
Oh, for sure, I have to check it out.
Yeah,
it's really good, dude. Yeah, and you know, yeah, I mean, that's all I'll say. I'll say that because I know you don't care about spoilers, but it's one of those things you should check out.
Just experience.
Awesome story,
dude. And real quick, Polar Nights, dude. I think this is our best first time chat that we've ever gotten. Polar Nights popped in here. I don't know if they're still here, but he was like, they were like, sweet mother of God, it is the perfect evolution of beard growth.
Oh, for us?
So good, dude. I think you're first in line, Marcus, and then it's Kev, and then straight Duck Dynasty on my side.
Yeah, man. That's amazing.
So fucking good.
Yeah, I don't know if they are in here anymore. The users in chat, I don't see it, but that is hilarious. That's perfect.
That's really good.
That's awesome.
Awesome. And again, we're 6 followers now away from being affiliated, and so, dude, like if somebody comes in here with that heat, like as their first time chat, I'm definitely get thrown out of sub for sure. But we gotta get to that point. But yeah, dude,
we can't do that for you guys until we're there. So we're only 6 away.
Yeah, we're close. But yeah, dude, I definitely got to catch up on that side, and I want to go back and rewatch because a lot of the Batman art, it was a crucial time in me growing up, where I was like totally focused on art just as a kid. So visually, I remember a lot of shit, but psychologically and like everything, like dialogue wise, like I don't. So I definitely got to go now that I've caught up on all the live action. I got to go back and catch up on the animated. So I'll add that to the list for sure.
Dude, it's literally all on HBO Max. I went through a phase a couple months ago where I just like went through all the animated Batman movies that I could. And like, some are better than others. There are some that are really, really good, like the one that Kev just mentioned. The Long Halloween is actually really, really good too. That one's really new. That one just came out.
Yeah, I heard that was an amazing story.
Yeah, you should definitely check that out. That one's also based off the graphic novel as well. So you'll love that one. Hush is incredible.
Hush is great. Actually, the animated movie the ending's different than the comic.
Wow.
Yeah, it is different.
But I was okay with it though. But I would read the comic as well because the comic's great.
For sure. Yeah, and the whole new story. This might be a perfect segue, because I think we're almost there. But the whole new story of the what is it, the Owl Court and that whole side of things that kind of retconned and threw itself back into the story from the beginning of Batman. Dude, that's one story that I've researched, listened to, but I haven't read word for word all the comics or watched anything that they've been in. The court, is it the Court of the Owls, right?
Court of Owls, yeah.
Court of Owls.
Yeah.
And I am hoping and praying that Matt Reeves is going that direction, maybe. I went nuts on our trailer breakdown that I was like, this is shot like a bird. Like, that means Court of Owls. Like,
there's a shadow that looks like a wing.
Because I think
one thing,
I think if with this the new movie, if we're getting a detective side, if we're getting more of a real world side, how sick would it be to have this crazy big psychological battle where, he's the Riddler's leading him to his family's history, and then he really finds out that his family's been secretly corrupt and working for all these like crazy bad guys. Like, then
Dude.
for sure I'll have the Keaton meme face that's right below me for sure.
The trailers certainly are hinting that, aren't they? So,
I think so too. I think, and a lot of people are thinking that as well, including myself. It's tough. I don't know. I keep going back and forth with this. The Court of Owls comic book, like that arc, I think it was part of the New 52, was definitely one of my favorites out of the like any Batman arcs that I've read. And I think it's a very compelling story, and I think would work really well as something that we've never had before. Because I think in a lot of our films, a lot of the Batman films that we've had, especially the Nolan trilogy, we saw Thomas and Martha Wayne as people who were trying to help Gotham.
yep.
And Thomas Wayne was, just a squeaky clean guy, and he just wanted, I think he was a doctor and just wanted to help wherever he could, and to, for Bruce, who watched his parents get murdered and then, look up to his father and realize that his father was like a piece of shit, is, I don't know, to me, we haven't seen anything like that. But I don't know. I would love to know your guys' opinions. Like, I mean, as comic book fans, the Court of Owls is it's a popular to people who really follow Batman comics closely. It's a popular storyline. Do you think it's popular enough? And that's the big debate that I have. Do you think it's popular enough for them to introduce it in the films for majority of people to go like, oh my God, they're doing that? I mean, do you think it could go that way, or maybe they do it in such a way where even if you haven't read it, it's still interesting enough where you're like, oh, I always thought Bruce Wayne's parents were, these great people who were always trying to like help Gotham in any way they could, but it turned out they were part of this underground cult.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? It's I don't know. I kind of go back and forth whether it's something so popular where Matt Reeves would introduce the Court of Owls.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I think the reason why we like it so much is because we've been following Batman stories for our entire lives, and so
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this is so different. This is fresh, and it's a good take on it. And like now, I like that because it's finally something different that I'm not used to.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're trying to get a new generation of like casual people to jump into a Batman story, I don't know if it's too much of a stretch to just to people like the hero's parents are bad. Like I don't know if that's I
Yeah.
feel like that's the argument against doing it. Like
Yeah.
like I said, we would like it and we would be, oh fuck, this is cool because like fuck, I've never seen that and that's so interesting. And the older I get, the more interesting like I want things to be instead of just so cut and paste. But it would be super fresh and it would be an amazing take if Matt Reeves was able to just do that and then people maybe that's just the generation that if the kids that are going to watch this movie that's coming out, maybe that's just what they know of the story of this world of Batman. It's going to start out. That's why those people said it's controversial. I think Kev, like the reviews that we saw, is because maybe they make some interesting choices like that, stuff that's not going to be popular with a lot of people. But I think for the hardcore Batman fans, like comic nerds, like they're gonna love it, and it'll be amazing for them.
Yeah. And yeah, just to answer pretty quick. So I got twofold, the two-parter just idea on it. I feel like they could do that, like you were saying, Marcus, like this is just how things start out. I think it's such a fresh idea that they may not be banking on the popularity of it already being, but they may look at the comics and be like, okay, like if these guys like it, like this is worth it to at least hint or introduce, And so this is the way.
Yeah.
This is like at the maybe we don't get the full story in this movie, but at least hint that the hero's parents are bad. Like, I feel like, if the movie is what's the hopeful running time? What is it, like 3 hours?
It's I think 2 hours and 55 minutes, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
that only
So
includes 8 minutes of credits, so
I
it's a
I
pretty
feel like
long fucking movie.
yeah, I feel like that's enough time to, in the beginning, give us that the Waynes are praised, and they're obviously not there. So I think it's enough time to tell that story and make us feel like the Waynes are good people in Gotham, and then the drop cliffhanger at the very end would be like, maybe they're not so good, like when he solves the riddle or finally talks to the Riddler face to face, whatever it is. The second idea could be that, like what they did with Spider-Man with Tom Holland, his third movie talked more about his origin story than any of the other two. He was just introduced because it's just a story that's been told over and over and over and over again. So it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like Batman's origin story has been told a fuck ton of times in
Mm.
a lot of different mediums. And so maybe they're going that route where it's like, okay, everybody should be familiar with kind of the background and who Bruce Wayne is. The latest iteration was long ago, but not too long ago, and it's still fresh. So I feel like they took that route with Justice League, where it was Bruce Wayne was already rich and balling and on his own. So maybe they do that again with Robert Pattinson. So
Honestly, I would love some. I feel like already we're, based off the trailers alone, we're getting something fresh and unique and a different take. But I would love if they were to, and again with the trailer, even like the first teaser trailer that we got at the first DC fandom, where you heard the Riddler telling Bruce that he was a part of this too, this whole thing. Um, Instantly, I think a lot of hardcore fans thought, "Oh my god, like they're going to introduce the Court of Owls and the Waynes being associated with that." I think if they were to go that route, and obviously Robert Pattinson in a recent interview, I think Marcus, it may have been the one that you had sent to Sean and I today. Robert Pattinson reiterated, "This is not an origin story. This is Batman Year 2. We're not going to go through." The Waynes and Bruce, a younger Bruce, like leaving, watching The Mask of Zorro at the theater, and they're going down the alleyway and getting shot, blah, blah, blah. But I think it'd be interesting to learn that they were actually shot for, not because they were robbed, but because they somehow betrayed this cult that they were a part of, and
Right.
have Bruce question, I became Batman because of what happened to my parents, and I want to stop from what happened to my parents. But then it turned out that my parents were the same thing that I'm trying to defend the city from, and to like continuously have this this battle inside himself. Like, we've never gotten that before. We've always seen like the Waynes are great. They died. Young Bruce sees it. He's like, "That was awful. I saw my parents die. I'm gonna take on this vigilante persona and just be the hero that I think a lot of majority of people who aren't always reading comics or that engrossed in the character. They look at Batman as just like the part of the superhero, team that fits with Superman and Wonder Woman and all that kind of stuff. But to actually have a really deep, dark story of Bruce, like a continuous story of Bruce Wayne really battling his inner demons. I don't know. I just feel like we've never gotten that. So I think, I know there were some people that were like, "Wait, we're getting another Batman film? Like, we just had the Nolan trilogy not too long ago, and then he introduced Ben Affleck, and now Ben's gone. What does that mean?" And like, now Michael Keaton's back, and wait, what's going on? I think this would be the way to go. I don't know if they're doing that. Now that I say it out loud, I kind of hope so.
Yeah, same here.
I don't know. I just think that would be something different. And again, Marcus, to echo what you said, that one of the, I don't know if it was a critic or whatever, that said it was like there was some controversy with the movie. I don't know how to take that. I mean, I don't take that as a negative.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of controversy with the Todd Phillips Joker film, and I think that film was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think controversy as to people who are going to go into the theater thinking they're seeing their classic Batman. They're going to get something. I think a lot more dark than they're expecting. And I wonder if that's what the controversy is, because I feel like I think it's gonna be a heavy film. I really do.
I do too. Right, they're doing a bunch of interviews now, and I read one today with Robert Pattinson. He reiterated, like, well, not reiterated. He's saying it. He's like, this movie is actually really sad.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that maybe he gets pushed like farther emotionally than we've ever seen before. I'm sure maybe they are going that route with the parent reveal with his parents. In the trailers when he said that, Alfred's lied to him all these years. When he finds out that, yeah, that they are bad and they're connected with the very thing he's fighting against,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that breaks him emotionally. Then he goes through a crazy period, and doesn't know if I don't know. It's gonna be so cool, and I hope that we do get to explore that because that'd be awesome.
That'd be super
Because
cool.
I did hear another little rumor, I guess, that the Riddler is in a way mimicking what Batman is trying to do, but of course he's crossing the line where there's people who are dying actually. But the Riddler, his whole mission is just to expose how filthy Gotham really is, which I love, because I love when you have villains where you, as even though the methods that they're choosing, you as a decent human being, wouldn't go to that extent, but you sit back and go, I kind of get where he's coming from,
Yep.
and I kind of, almost similar to, like, again, Todd Phillips' Joker story. Like, it hits a point in the movie where you're like, I mean, this is awful, and this is really dark, but I get it. Like, I get why he's doing what he's doing now, and I think that's what we're gonna get with this Riddler, where you're almost like, oh, I kind of understand where he's coming from, and I almost feel for him.
Mm-hmm.
It really sucks, and it's unfortunate he's going, he's using the methods that he's using, but I get it. And I think that just makes a more compelling story where, when you have a villain who's not just like, I want to take over the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why they talk like that, but, but just someone who's like, I'm trying to, in my mind, I feel like I'm doing good. I always find those villains more threatening. Like, like, for example, Kingpin from, like, the Daredevil series.
Yep.
Like, these people are so, like, screwed up in the head, and they just, like, they're honestly convinced that they're actually doing good. Even though, like, us looking at it like, shit, like, that's some fucked up stuff that you're, like, the means that you're taking. And I think that's what we're gonna get with the Riddler, or at least that's what I've heard. So that excites me.
100%, dude. That, I hope that's the way it goes down, because I agree with you, man. Those are the best villains, and I think the best example is the whole Thanos was right movement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
dude.
yeah, and I hate to tie it back to Marvel, but dude, like, the fact that they're even throwing in graffiti now, like, on bathroom stalls in Hawkeye, where it's like, Thanos was right, and it's like, dude, so, like, in their world, like, there's even people that see, like, okay, I get, he's trying to do an unbiased population control to save the greater, future, and he's being completely unbiased by it, and yeah, totally understand it. And, like,
He didn't even kill them in a violent way.
no, and
He just dusted them,
yeah, and dude, even Internals, they keep pushing that way, because in Internals, I don't know if you guys have seen it or want to see it or care about spoilers, but
I have not. Marcus, I think you have that, right?
I did. I watched it recently when it came to Disney Plus.
Same
It's
here.
free, so I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude." But uh, it was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be,
Yeah.
and so I'll leave it at that. I didn't have high expectations for it, so when I was able to sit down in my chair and watch it, and like just kind of take it in, it was a lot better than I thought it would be. I didn't like have a bunch of hype behind me watching it, so because then I would have been disappointed, I think.
Yeah,
But yeah,
same.
going into it with no expectations, it was good.
Dude, and yeah, just to bring it back to DC and Batman, I think that's a proven route. And the fact that Marvel's continuing to push that divide of like, was Thanos right, where was everybody else right? You know, they're continuing to push those storylines. I think it's super proven. So I'm like, dude, DC, if you guys do the shit right and do it where the Riddler creates that divide and that relation with the viewer, possibly the some of the other people in Gotham, you know, if there's enough people like rioting outside, like, you know, like, oh, you know, this guy's telling us the truth about Batman, we don't know. And maybe, you know, we've seen the cops turn on Robert Pattinson in the trailer. It's like, dude, like that, creating that, so creating that inner turmoil like you were talking about, Kev, and then the outer turmoil of the world around him, trying to decide who's right and who's good. Like, I think that
Yeah,
would be an insanely sick movie, and I think it would set the table perfectly for Court of Owls, like powerful like second movie or something.
I agree. I completely agree.
Or even the idea you threw out, Sean, of it, like little hint of it in the first one, a little more in the second one, and
Oh,
maybe in the third one, it culminates in like the whole fucking explosion.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude. Little salt
like
base
they would be,
sprinkling.
yeah, they would be the main overall big bads, while Batman is taking care of, his other rogues, throughout the other movie or throughout the rest of the series.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
like at the end is when it all comes crashing down. And
yeah.
like that would be fucking crazy.
I I
That'd be
could see
crazy.
that, and I don't know if did I have this discussion with you guys. I forget, or maybe I just thought it myself. I'm not sure, but I could kind of see Matt Reeves pulling a Marvel in that. You look at that. You look at the end of like the first Avengers movie where you have that glimpse of Thanos, and then throughout the entire arc of like the Infinity Saga, we call it now, it leads up to Thanos. Like you constantly had, like Sean, you were doing the sprinkle.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that happening. Like you're hinting at the Court of Owls, and like through however many movies Matt Reeves decides to do, there's always the Court of Owls is always thrown in somehow. Like even though the movie may center around a certain villain, at some point you're always going to get more and more of this Court of Owls until, like Marcus, you were saying, it'll end with something like that. Uh,
Yeah.
I think it would be fucking awesome. And now,
Hell
like,
yeah,
I
dude.
hope that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
especially like all of the rogues like teaming up with the Court of Owls too, or something like that, and like
Right?
like that's when Robin comes into play, and maybe they introduce more of the Bat family to help take down this giant threat.
Oh, dude.
Or
I mean,
Batman even teaming up with some of the rogues that he's caught over the first two movies, teaming up with them to stop the Court of Owls or something like
oh,
that. That would be insane
holy
too.
shit. That would be, dude. I think we just fucking wrote, like, the whole rest of the series.
Just to bring it back, and something that I just remembered is in the trailer. Dude, there is a scene where Batman and all these cops who don't quite trust Batman are down in the sewers, and they're trudging through some orange, muddy, clay looking shit. That could be fucking Clayface, bro. Just pop out of there, fucking clay everybody, and dude,
Clay everybody. Yeah, clay them right in the face.
Court of Owls just trying to drown everybody who figures them out in clay.
So you know how, like, the tagline for, like, the Batman on all the posters is like "Unmask the Truth." So when they fucking
Yeah.
introduce Clayface, it's just gonna be like, "You got clayed,
Yeah. Yeah,
clay,
dude.
clay everywhere."
Dude, if there's any character in the movie named Clay, I'm gonna be like, that's Clayface. That's fucking Clayface.
Uh
Fucking
yeah, we'll keep our eyes peeled for like a famous actor or anything in the movie. Because like that would be who, or I mean like somebody playing a famous actor in the movie.
Yeah,
That's we'll know he
Yeah,
exists.
yeah.
yeah.
No, that would,
Um,
bro. I hope this
well,
movie's I hope this movie's anywhere near what we're talking about or better. But yeah, sorry, Marcus.
So. If not,
no, dude, we're good. I was just saying the word. I think we about hyped as much as we could. I think we hyped ourselves up.
I think so. Dangerous levels of extending.
Yeah, I know, dude. I'm not even gonna be able to sleep. It's gonna be extended so far.
Sleep? I probably can't even stand.
I'm sleeping right here tonight, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stand and lean.
That's all, like a kickstand.
No.
Nah, dude. My penis is not that big for sure.
Oh, dude, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah. We're talking A4s, bro. I don't know what the hell you're thinking over there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said.
What's a penis?
I've gotten that question so many times, dude. It's like they're like, what does extend your A4 mean? And I was like, I tried and think about it, and I know, Sean, we've talked about it before, but
yeah,
I don't even know what we came up with.
I've only explained it to one person, but yeah, I just love seeing those questions come in. But yeah, dude, Kev, awesome episode. I think we've gone through. You know, we didn't touch too much on the '60s, but you nailed the Riddler from back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is super hyped, and you know, as you can tell from the whole episode, like overlay, like I think this will be a sick movie. I think we're all extremely hyped for it. Thank you guys for joining us in chat. Yes. Appreciate everybody being here. Again, we're 6 follows away. I think that counter's off now. 6 follows away from getting affiliated. Once we get through there, you know, maybe that's when I start the Batman games and we start branching out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all I got. I don't know if Marcus and Kev, if you guys got any extra notes.
No, dude. Just as always, it's been fun, and the hype level's off the charts for me. I could probably like explode out of my skin like at any moment. So I have to tell my girlfriend to be careful, like not to touch me too hard, because I'm just like I have way too much hype, and it's gonna be really messy.
Whoa.
Yeah. Hey.
For like the last 6 months, it's been that way. You're just dodging shit constantly.
It's gonna be like what's it? It's Step Brothers. John C. Reilly when he's talking about touching the drum or not touching the drum set. It's like, don't touch it.
Dude, I'm right there with you, man. I still can't believe like we're only a few weeks out from this movie coming out. Like, cause it's been so long, and I can't believe it's real now. And I honestly do. I know that, you know, we talked in the beginning about like our reservations. Like, you know, this is, you know, what they're doing. Like the trailers have been incredible. The marketing's incredible. You know, including the posters and all this kind of stuff. And oh my god, what if it fucking sucks?
The fucking Bat Calzone, bro.
Everything.
Little Caesars. Like, I mean, how can the movie be bad if there's a fucking bat-shaped pizza? I'm just saying. I think we're going to get something really, really special. There's a part of me that feels that certain people who obviously the character of Batman is you know is one of the most iconic, familiar superheroes, and I feel like people that are going to go see this film thinking that they're going to see in their minds their Batman, I don't think are going to get that. I do think that avid Batman fans and people who have been yearning for more of the material from graphic novels, maybe more of the adult material, the darker material, I think their appetite is going to be filled with this movie. That's what I'm thinking. I think it is going to. I do think it's going to be a very divisive film. I don't think it's going to please everybody, but I think the three of us, I think we're going to be fucking stoked.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie is going to be for the hardcore Batman fans, but I could be wrong. I mean, people who aren't even fans of Batman and are looking for a psychological thriller, you know, such like Silence of the Lambs or, you know, Zodiac or anything like that. you know, they might
7
be
in that whole thing. Yeah.
yeah, they might be satisfied as well. I don't know. I don't know. I am so fucking excited for this movie. I have not been excited for a movie. Honestly, I think I maybe had said to Marcus through a text message like since Endgame or Infinity War. But this movie, I can't believe that we're getting this movie so soon. So I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. I can't wait. But that's all I have. That's it. The end.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
This is really happening. We're almost there. We're almost at the finish line, and I think the next time, the next time we're probably all on together will be to discuss what we just experienced after we've had time to sit with it for a few days, and
I can't wait for that.
we should jump back on and just do a deep dive because I'm sure there's going to be plenty to talk about.
Oh my god, yeah, I cannot
Yep.
wait for that. Oh my god.
It'll be another 2 to 3 hour one, and I'll be clipping all the bird's eye view shots and being like, I fucking told you guys.
I can't wait to watch it in theaters and just like, oh my god, Sean was right. Look at all the owl references. This is fucking nuts.
Dude, there was no joke, bro. Like there was a lot of like weird aerial like bird's eye like drone shots, and I was like,
You're right. Like
Yeah.
when he jumps off, like I guess it's like the GCPD building,
yep,
Yeah,
and like the cops are trying to grab at him, and it's like this, the view of like you're like watching him fall, and then there's this
yeah.
where like he's on like some
I
sort
don't know what he's on.
and he's coming at you, and then the camera flips upside down.
and
Fuck, dude.
and dude, like even I know it's a establishing shot to go super wide when the scene's crazy, but even a lot of establishing shots have a slow zoom or slow pan. But the one where there's like chaos and there's like shit blowing up on the ground and they're at some like some historical looking building, like that's even like a weird swooping like angle, and I'm like, bro, that's it. So
I'm gonna watch all the trailers now and just be like,
I-
oh my god.
I think I am becoming the conspiracy headband guy. So
You are.
You literally
I'm
just
evolving.
exhibited every trait just came out in the last 10 seconds.
Oh shit. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
man. This has been super fun, Kev. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
The Legion
having me.
Assemble.
Yeah.
Legion Assemble is going to
course.
be a monthly thing, so we will definitely be talking with you again soon. And man, yeah, we covered a lot of shit. I know we wanted to cover all things Batman and throughout his entire legacy, and I think we did a pretty good job. So high
I think
five.
so.
I think so too. That was pretty well rounded. There's a
Yeah.
lot of shit there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
hope you guys got your fix. Thank you for everybody who tuned in and watched. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for everything. Tell all your friends or someone to send Sean over to your house, and you're not gonna like it. So
I'm gonna try and sell you all the things, including a pass to my 3-day retreat.
don't drink the Kool-Aid. Definitely don't do that. Literally and figuratively.
Well, shit.
Dude, one of the things that I didn't even say was the comic book storyline Nightfall is one of my fucking favorite ones.
Oh,
Just
dude.
that whole arc
shit.
over the years.
What a good story, man.
that's so good.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I got to go back and reread that again, dude. Just like one of the most iconic like images in my head when I think about reading Batman comics from a child from childhood was Bane breaking his back.
Oh,
Like,
dude,
that cover just seared into my head.
yeah, that illustration. Oh, I
Yeah.
completely agree with you, man.
That was super iconic.
Yeah.
I meant to mention that too. Is there was a series, Earth One series.
Mhm.
I believe written by Jeff Johns. And the first time I ever read the first two volumes, they read as if they're a script for a movie. And the second volume introduces the Riddler, and it almost seems like it's a Riddler that we're gonna get in the Batman. It starts with a scene where there's there's people on an elevator, and they have to solve a riddle, or he's gonna like explode the elevator or something. I mean, it's pretty intense, and they introduced like Croc, and it's a lot different than what the David Ayer Suicide Squad did. That fucking trash of a movie. But yeah, that's a really great comic book series. So if nobody's read Earth One, read the first 2 volumes. I have the third. I have not read it just yet, but if you're looking for like a different take on Batman, and this is like one of the first times I think, or if not the first time, that Batman was illustrated without white eyes, and you could actually see his pupils. I don't know if anybody.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's a really interesting take. It shows a different Alfred, where Alfred trained Bruce how to fight, which I'm kind of hoping they introduce in the Batman. It's not so much Bruce like traveled the world and learned all these different martial arts. Like Alfred literally taught him how to defend himself, which I think is really cool. It just kind of like the comics just kind of play out like more of a realistic movie, which is kind of sick.
Yeah, everything you said in there, I feel like they could easily throw into this storyline in this world, because even Alfred is grittier. I forget the dude's name, but he's
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, yeah, he's a little scarred up. He can box. He can, he's shown us some action moves in Marvel side of things. So I think he can definitely, be kind of the trainer to Bruce, and that would even set up the, him lying to Bruce. Like it would set it up even better.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
I agree.
We'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you guys being here. Kev's already out. I'm out.
Yeah, he was so excited. He's already he's in line for the Batman movie right now.
Yeah, I think it's intense. So he's getting his camping gear. He's gonna go camp out in front of the theater. All right, guys, appreciate you.
See you, everybody.
Later.